It's 2 days before Christmas, and Santa Claus is gearing up for his yearly visit around the world. Things were going smoothly, that is until Saint Nick turns up missing from the North Pole. Santa's bodyguard is hot on the case, and enlists the help of a notorious naughty lister to help him. The two begrudgingly team up, because if they don't, this will be a year without a Santa Claus. This is Red 1. Red 1 is a Christmas action comedy starring Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans. And if I'm being honest, I was a bit hesitant to review this movie because really, who cares? There aren't many movies out there that just give me the feeling of why. But I realized I still had the Santa suit out from my Terrifier 3 review, and I decided, you know what? Why not? Red 1, while not as bad as I anticipated it to be, still has its fair share of shortcomings. The worst of which being the main characters. They are laughably bland, and in a movie that admittedly has some fun ideas in it, they stick out like a stocking full of coal. Dwayne Johnson does exactly what you expect Dwayne Johnson to do in a movie like this. He plays Dwayne Johnson. He literally just plays a guy on the ELF force, but it's never really pointed out that he is an elf. He's just a guy. At least have him be an abnormally tall and buff elf. That would be funny, at least. What's worse is that Jake Kasdan also directed the Jumanji sequels. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but those films are quite funny. And you know what? Dwayne Johnson actually gives pretty rock-solid performances in both of those movies. The characters he plays really goes against the grain of what he's known for, and that's kinda what sucks about this performance. It's just Dwayne Johnson. He's just the hard-ass, no-nonsense guy. It's nothing. It's what you expect. Chris Evans fares a lot better, mainly because I found his character to be much more likable than Dwayne Johnson's character. I'm going to be completely candid with you. I don't remember the characters' names. It's Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans. And at least this character goes against the grain of the goody two-shoes Boy Scout comic book hero we all know Chris Evans for. Obviously, I'm talking about the Human Torch. Or am I talking about Casey Jones, one of the boyfriends from Scott Pilgrim? For what it's worth, the characters aren't insultingly bad, but they are quite boring in comparison to the rest of the film. This becomes much more apparent when the film introduces who I believe to be the film's standout, Christopher Hivju, as Krampus. He has a lot of great energy as this character, and the costume is great. I honestly wish he was the main character of this film. I would watch the hell out of an action Christmas comedy about Krampus saving his estranged brother before Christmas. That sounds freaking amazing, actually. Much more interesting than the film we actually got. I wasn't sure I wanted to talk about this, but it was so bafflingly bad, I feel like I have to. He's only in the movie for one scene, but I just have to wonder, did the director ever once think to tell Nick Kroll to stop? At any moment, just stop. They really just let him go and do that. I was quite annoyed. This film does love to depict Santa Claus and the North Pole in general as a military operation. And for what it's worth, that is nothing new. Arthur Christmas did that back in 2011. And much better, actually. That isn't to say the film has bad or unoriginal ideas. It has a lot of good ones I really like, actually. Specifically the little gadget that turns toys into bigger, more effective versions of the toy. That's a fun idea for a Christmas movie. I quite liked that. Even if the animation for it is quite similar to the Pym particles. You know, come to think of it, the North Pole in this movie's hidden like Wakanda. Speaking of MCU connections, this film is written like how most Twitter users perceive the writing of the MCU to be. Well, that happened. It's like that, but it's actually happening in the movie. It has a lot of crummy sitcom-like dialogue and character moments, and a lot of the jokes just don't land. But the ones that do aren't really that funny either. They got a chuckle out of me, but that was about it. To me, this movie reeks of missed opportunity. Not only do I think there is gold in a Krampus Saves Christmas movie, there's a lot of other cool things in this film too. They tease us in this film with the existence of other mythical figures, and they really don't do much with it. Instead, they just sit us down with two regular Joes. Because Krampus teaming up with the Headless Horseman to save Christmas would be a boring movie, apparently. Maybe I just yearn for a sequel to Rise of the Guardians. As a Christmas movie, it is pretty inoffensive for families, but since it's PG-13, why don't you just take the extra jump and just have a family movie night and watch Violent Night? It's a much, much better movie. Before this movie played, there was a commercial for Red One and M&Ms, where the red M&M was interviewing Dwayne Johnson, Chris Evans, and J.K. Simmons, who play Santa Claus in this film. And for some reason, the people behind that commercial did not have the forethought to at all have J.K. Simmons talk to the yellow M&M. Because fun fact, J.K. Simmons voices the yellow M&M. Why wasn't the yellow M&M the one doing the interview? Yes, I understand that in context of the commercial, the red M&M is just being super arrogant and believes he could be in the movie too because he is red. But J.K. Simmons meeting one of his characters would have been significantly more funny to me. I don't know. Seriously, this film was full of missed opportunities before the movie started. I hope you all enjoyed this review, and if you did, please consider hitting that like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Until next time, I'm Quentin Dunaway, hoping you will keep it cinematic.